years ago, I reviewed a mouse from 8Bitdo called the N30, and that had the look of a Nintendo Entertainment System controller. It looked cool and had one really interesting feature, but ultimately it was a product that was solely made to capitalize on nostalgia. Fast forward a few years, and the gaming accessory maker has come back and expanded on that concept, but this time around, it's in the form of an 87-key Bluetooth mechanical keyboard. Unlike that gimmicky mouse, I am flabbergasted at just how great of a functional keyboard this actually is. 8Bitdo offers the retro keyboard in two styles, one to match the N30 mouse with a Nintendo Entertainment System or the NES color scheme, while the other honors the Japanese Family Computer Disk System, or otherwise affectionately called the Famicom counterpart of that console generation. I purchased the Famicom color scheme, and to be honest, 100% honest, I actually think the NES design looks cooler on this keyboard layout. The added contrast and shades makes that color scheme pop a little bit more than the red, white, and black combination that I have here on my board. However, this Fami Edition board, as 8Bitdo calls it, has Japanese Kanji as the secondary language input on the keycaps. Only the Fami Edition has this, so this is a bonus feature that I find actually does honor the source material and makes it a unique product in itself. The kanji layout is actually accurate and is what Japanese keyboards with a kana layout would have on it. So very cool that 8Bitdo did something like this. The fine details continue as the direction keys have a bolded icon that resembles the Famicom's controller directional pad. There's also a dedicated B and an A button next to the control key that you won't see on other Windows or Mac OS keyboards. These are programmable keys usable for a variety of features like keystrokes and function combinations. 8Bitdo also includes a separate B and A pad that connects into the keyboard for two additional programmable keys. This is directly syncing with the keyboard and not the computer. The gamepad B and A buttons are not the same as the keyboard ones though. That means that you have a total of 4 programmable buttons available to you to use however you want to straight out of the box. There are 4 plugs for these pads, so you could theoretically buy 3 or more of these B and A pads for a total of 8 programmable buttons in addition to the 2 already on the keyboard. Since launch day, I've had the pad buttons set to be shortcuts for copy and paste, thus replacing Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. You can actually do the programming straight from the board without the need for any additional software. Although 8Bitdo now does support macro programming through their software. On the top left corner of the keyboard, press the start button and it will begin flashing. Hold the key combination for the function you're looking to program and then press the buttons that you want to program onto that function. It's so simple to do. It did take me a few days though to get accustomed to hitting a button instead of doing this combination of keys, but I love how there's this added benefit for the keyboard that actually matches the theme. It's a gaming console with a wired keyboard attached to it, like what it would have been on the Famicom in 1990. This is a design cue that makes sense and wasn't tossed on it for the sake of having a gimmick. And if you set aside the connection to the Nintendo system, this 8Bitdo product is surprisingly a solid keyboard in its own right. Made out of plastic, the board is built with a level of quality that I just don't see a lot of nowadays. It reminds me of a toy made in the 80s or the 90s. The plastic build just feels a bit more solid than they do now. Plastic builds nowadays don't feel this solid. I instantly felt that way about this 8Bitdo after my fingers got a few keystrokes in. They threw in Kale Box Switch V2 whites as the included switch type, and I love the sound that it makes. It's a thick click that reminds me of what I imagine IBM computers litter across desks in offices during the time period of the Famicom. I don't know if 8Bitdo had intended for that sound, but I definitely correlated it with that, and I'm sticking by that. Of course, this has a hot swappable PCB with the cal switches being 5-pin. You can change the switches to make it sound or feel however you want it to sound. And to live up to the gaming heritage that it sports after, 8BitDo has sported the keyboard with N-key rollover, which is quite important to actual gamers who want to use this for some gaming. However, like the product it was based on back in the day, there is no RGBs whatsoever, nor is there backlighting on this board. I've also been very impressed with the longevity of the battery life on the 8BitDo. I've gone past a month without needing to worry about plugging the keyboard into charge. This is one terrific typing experience that also sounds good, looks good, and has added benefits. It's a high-end offering with 3 paths of connection to connecting to a PC through Bluetooth, a 2.4 gigahertz receiver, and of course a USB-C cable. I appreciate just how instant the keyboard wakes up upon input of a key. It never misses a beat when I come back from a break. Next to the USB-C port, 8BitDo has an in-body housing for the USB receiver, which has a brick texture as a tribute to, of course, everybody's favorite plumber. I love all the little details on the board. Even the power status LED and the volume knob and the connection switch all aesthetically feel like a throwback of some sort to something that could exist during this time period of the Famicom. It is very, very obvious to me that 8BitDo put a lot of thought into this keyboard, and it is way more than just a nostalgia money grab. This retro keyboard is legitimately a great mechanical keyboard that is better than many competitors out there. I find it undervalued for what they're asking for, which actually makes this ironically one of the few products out there that I admit I initially misjudged when I placed a pre-order all those months back. I didn't expect to take the sports too seriously, as the N30 left me with little expectations. I can go as far as to make the claim that the 8BitDo Retro was one of my favorite keyboards that I reviewed in 2023. I'm Alex from the Subnautics. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite retro console is, and if you would buy a keyboard that was kind of designed after the look of that. Hit that like button and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video.